learning customer services, I think, is huge. I think way too many realtors don't understand customer service and don't understand that it's not all about us. We have to be able to give great customer service and learning how to talk to people when there is a problem, right? When they have that complaint, being able to guide them that way. And honestly, even more than that, believe it or not, the police officer side, you really learn how people are going to react to what you say and how to say things in a way. And I think that's been a huge service to me. It's a skill that's hard to learn quickly in real estate by itself that I already had.
Hi, I'm Noelle with today's Brew, where top producing real estate agents share their tips and tricks on taking more listings, making more money, and having fun doing it. On today's episode, we welcome Donnie Morrow from Memphis, Tennessee. Hey, Donnie.
Hey, Noelle, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I am doing good. We are rocking and rolling and staying busy.
Awesome. Let's hear about that. So let's get started with how you got into real estate.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So I actually had been in the restaurant business for a long time and kind of hated it, but I was really good at it and decided I was going to take this huge pay cut to become a police officer. So I became a Memphis police officer, which I did really enjoy, but I definitely missed the money. So my thought was, I'm going to go get a second job. I'm a new guy at the police department. So I'm at the low end of that totem pole. I don't want another boss. I'm going to get a real estate license so I don't have to have a boss. I'm going to do it part-time until I retire from the police department at 55 or 60. And then I won't have to go find another career. I'll just keep selling real estate to supplement my pension. So that was how I got started. I literally needed to make $1,500 a month to pay my house note. That was all I wanted. Then things just kind of went crazy from there. My first full calendar year, I sold 35 houses, and that was at night after being in the squad car all day. So I decided to go full time. And then my first full time year, I sold 72 houses. So then I started my team to continue to be able to go up. So that's it was almost by accident. And I just kept resetting my goals, and it worked out.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like it definitely worked out. How many years ago was this that you went full time?
So I got my license in 2013, went full time at the end of 2014.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you're not missing being a police officer at all, I'm guessing.
No, I still talk to a lot of my friends and I did enjoy the job. There's certain things about it, obviously, that we all loved about it.
You mentioned restaurant. So I was in restaurant I bartended for 17 years before I went into real estate as well. How do you feel about that setting you up for your people skills and communication?
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing is I never really enjoyed the restaurant business, but I was really good at it. It's 60 to 100 hours a week. And it was nonstop, but I made really good money. I set a lot of records as far as, food costs and labor costs and top profit. I was the first store in Memphis to ever take credit cards. A lot of that, which is like, I'm dating myself now.
How old are you, Donnie?
But learning how to deal with the employees, because of course now as a real estate team, I have lots of agents and employees. So that was good. Learning customer services, I think, is huge. I think way too many realtors don't understand customer service and don't understand that it's not all about us. We have to be able to give great customer service and learning how to talk to people when there is a problem, right? When they have that complaint, being able to guide them that way. And honestly, even more than that, believe it or not, the police officer side, you really learn how people are going to react to what you say and how to say things in a way. And I think that's been a huge service to me. It's a skill that's hard to learn quickly in real estate by itself that I already had.
Absolutely. There's a total advantage. I agree. Both professions definitely set you up for a successful career of multitasking and dealing with different personalities and hiccups along through the process. Okay, so let's kind of jump into your daily schedule. What does your morning look like?
Yeah, so my daily schedule, I am a team leader. I'm running the business. I do some production, but really just for like police officer friends or past clients that I've helped multiple times that I just really love working with. I like to say, sometimes I say I'm out of production. A lot of times I say it's not that I'm out of production, but I get to choose who I work with, which is one of the benefits of actually having a big team. not all glory, right? A lot of hard work to a team. So my daily schedule, I usually do admin work in the morning from about 7 to 8. We have morning huddles a couple of days a week. So I usually do those from 8 to 8:30 with my team. From 8:30 to 10 is my phone call time. I still get on the phone. Most of that is recruiting real estate agents because you've got to produce in some form. I'm not producing buyers and sellers as much. Now I'm producing real estate agents that I can help grow their businesses. And then after 10 o'clock is generally appointments or training. So I still do all of our onboard training with our new agents. I'm doing most of the appointments with those agents. And then, of course, I'm still helping our COO help the agents throughout the day with issues as well. And I am the managing broker. So I do also have to do all the broker stuff that comes up, arguing over earnest money or taking the calls or whatever the case might be. So it's still—
You wear a lot of hats.
Yes, more than most people realize. The great part about it is being a team leader is I generally don't have to work all night and all weekend. So that's really the benefit of it.
Yeah, which is also the benefit of trying to take more listings. Is that something that you train your agents to do? Are you having them prospecting and making their calls?
We do. It is oftentimes very hard to get them to transition to listings because listings tend to be a little bit longer term unless you've got a really big brand built. And we do have a big brand, but it's not enough to just feed 40 people hundreds of listings every year, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things, we are the highest listing retail team. And I say retail because there's one team that does a lot of investment that does more than us in the city. But last year we were the highest listing retail team in the city. We set a goal about 6 months ago to double our number of listings this year. And that was mostly, yes, to help the team be more proficient with their time, but also in light of the NAR lawsuit, we wanted to be prepared for that. So we're up about 50% in listings so far this year over last year.
Wow. So what is that number?
Last year, I think we listed about 130. So when I checked it a month or so ago, at that time last year, we had done 40. And at that time this year, we had done 60.
Fantastic. That's incredible. So how many people are on your team?
So I believe there's right at 40 agents. On any team, you're always going to have some people that are performing and some people that aren't at that time. So generally, we run anywhere from 25 to 30 that are actually performing at any one time. Other people like had a sick kid or, something happened at their household or a sick parent, right? Like when you have 40 people, there's always life going on for somebody.
Absolutely.
So we run about 60% or so active at any one time. And I know that sounds funny from the outside looking in, but that's the reality of running a team. It's not like you get 40 agents and they all just produce year after year after year. They never have hurdles, right? Like my top producer last year, his mom passed away, he had a baby, and then his wife had that surgery, right? So, he
was needed at home.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but good for him. He was your top producer and was probably able to do that without a lot of stress because he had some money saved away to be able to take some time off.
He had a really good first half of the year, and then all that stuff hit the second half of the year. So whereas he thought he might sell 50 or 60, he really only ended up selling about 40 or 45. But because he was in
gosh, man, he should really step it up.
Right. No, he does great.
I mean, those are numbers that the bulk of agents will never, ever see. Like what, 80% or 90%? Because 10% of agents are really doing all the hustle?
So I think I've always heard the number that only 3% of agents ever sell 25 houses or more. So basically, if you sell 25 in a year, you're in the top 3% of the country. I believe that's the number I've always heard.
So I'm understanding now that you're more the leader. So you have a lot of agents working under you. Do you have them follow a schedule though, since they come on as a team? Do you have them set up with coaches, or are you part of a coaching program?
Yeah, so I've been coaching. I'm actually in between coaches right now. Don't know who I'm going to go with next, but I just spent 5 years with a coaching company, or 6 years as a client for them and 5 years as a coach for them. And still love them, still good friends with the owner, no issues there, just ready for something different.
Yeah.
There was nothing there, and I haven't decided which direction I'm going to go. I've met so many coaches over the year, and I like so many of them. I do believe in coaching for sure. As far as my agents go, I can't dictate their schedule, and I don't try to, because if I try to dictate their schedule and make them be me, they're all going to leave me. It's all about finding that balance where you can lead them to be successful, but at the same time, not having such a high level of accountability that they leave, right? It's so hard because accountability is the highest form of love, but that doesn't mean everybody loves to be held accountable. So there's
you nailed it. You nailed it.
Right.
I'm in coaching as well. And I'm like, I need accountability, but like, don't annoy me. Like, don't ask too many questions. It's funny where we know where our strengths and weaknesses are, but sometimes it's still hard to fully accept the help and the guidance when we ask for it, we sign up for it. We're like, this is what I need you for. And then you can still get a little like,
Well, and what I would tell you is I know lots of very high producing team leaders and coaches around the country. And what I see is team agents and agents that are out there selling the average number of houses are going, there's no way I would ever pay a coach. It's too much money. They don't do anything. I want to do my own thing. I want to build my own brand, blah, 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 whatever it is. But then I see all these other people who are selling 500, 1,000, 1,500 houses a year. They're paying 40,
yeah.
100,000.
I mean, depending on what your market's like and what your commission checks are like, you almost pay for it in one transaction for the year.
In some markets, yeah.
In some markets.
So literally, it's funny because the highly successful people are running to accountability. Mm-hmm. And people who say they want to be successful that aren't are usually resisting accountability. Mm-hmm. So kind of a funny dynamic, and it's hard to get people to look at the truth of that sometimes and accept that they're the ones running from accountability where they should be paying someone like me or paying someone else like you, whatever. Yeah. But they're too busy not
making excuses.
Yeah, I'm trying to be gentle.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all right. Cause I mean, I'm even calling myself out a little bit. I mean, if you can't be truthful and honest with yourself, then you're just really not going to go anywhere. And there's some great books out there and coaches that are here to help. Because usually the roadblock is, well, you.
Usually is. So the first step is being able to admit that you're the problem, right? And that's what people struggle with. We talked about the restaurant industry and how it's helped me in real estate. One of the things that I knew, even with a 16-year-old kid, if they couldn't accept instruction that they were doing something wrong, if they had an excuse for it every time, they never improved, right? Even in the restaurant, even cooking French fries, if they always had an excuse why it wasn't them, they never could improve, because how do you improve something that you won't admit needs improving, right? So I would much rather have the kid that wasn't talented but would admit and learn from it than have the guy that had all the talent in the world, but he would never admit that he needed to change something.
That's what I learned with coaching right off the bat is your ego, like getting outside of your ego. And it really carries over into other parts of your life so much. You got to do the things that people ask you to do and let your ego step aside, and you truly will be successful.
It's amazing. I always tell my agents the difference between the agent selling 10 a year and 110 a year is just mindset. And that's part of that mindset.
So what are you telling your agents who are suffering with, I don't know, angry callers or people just not getting enough yeses and getting more no's, which is normal? How are you keeping them going?
Yep. Quit being attached to the outcome. I've always given this advice, even as a new agent, when I was calling expireds and FSBOs and building up my listings from 30 to 70 to 100 a year. And they would put me on panels and they would say, what's the best advice you can give for any agent calling expireds? My answer for the last 11 years has always been, don't worry about the outcome. Embrace doing the activity. If you're doing it for the right reasons and you keep improving on it, the results will come. If you're always worried about the outcome, then it can be very disappointing and very, very hard to deal with, because we all want instant gratification. And it's very frustrating when you don't get that instant gratification.
Oh yeah, no. And it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of behind the scenes here in the business. And then even when you get the deal, there's so many little road bumps. You got to keep going. You really do. And you're right. Until it's closed, don't count it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So if you're a new agent or a stagnant agent, what's your best advice for them? What should they do?
Look at what they have done for the last 6 months and adjust where it needs to be adjusted. So whenever agents come into my office and say, man, I don't think the team leads are as good as they should be, or this or that. And I'm like, perfect. We'll take a look at that. Let's take a look at what you've done. Oh, well, I see here You've logged 50 dials in the last month in the CRM. So if you don't count weekends, I'm only counting Monday through Friday, you're averaging 2 dials a day. That means on average, you talk to 5 people in the last month. How are you going to be successful and meet your goals if you only talk to 5 people in a month? So I always start with, let's look at the CRM. Let's look at your notes. Let's see how many leads. Oh, you've only taken 3 leads. Well, are you hungry or are you not? So now let's put your game plan together. Number one, what's your goal for taking leads? I don't expect you to go from taking 3 to 30, but can you go from 3 to 10? Let's make an incremental increase that is palatable to you. And I know you're not going to do like me, and you're probably not going to make 30 to 50 calls a day. If you've been averaging 2 calls a day, can we get you to 10 calls a day for the next 2 weeks? And then maybe we go to 15. So it's all about looking at what you've been doing. Be, again, honest with yourself. Set your ego aside and say, these are the activities that I need to do. Now let me do an incremental increase that I can actually handle versus trying to go from 5 calls a day to 50, which you're never going to do. It's like going on a diet. You love soda, and now you're just going to quit cold turkey, right? Not going to happen. So really, I kind of backtrack and say, let's look at what you're doing first. And then I'm like, okay, so about the leads that you said weren't very good, you only took 2. Is that really a large enough sample size for you to be making a judgment yet? Yeah, I didn't think so either. So let's start here. Here's your goals for the next 2 weeks. Can we meet again and see how you're doing? And I'll see, and I can guide you to the next step if you take action. If you don't take action on these, I can't move you forward anymore.
No, can't do anything for them. Yeah. And that was such a good answer. That was a great answer. All right. Well, if we want to send you referrals, any other agents are watching this and love what you have to say and have people moving to your area, or maybe they want to join you, where can they reach you?
Yeah, the best place to reach me, honestly, is my phone. Like, you can always find me on social media. That's perfectly fine. Do all that. But I will give out my cell phone. I love helping agents. 901-409-5168. 901-409-5168. Probably have to send me a text because by the time I get off of this, I may have like 10 missed calls, 20 missed texts, and 20 missed group messages. So I don't oftentimes call back numbers I don't know. But if you text me, I try my best to get back with it. Or if you leave me a message. If I know who you are, put it that way, I try my best to get back to everybody, and I usually do it that day, unless it's like or something.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing everything that you have. Definitely highlighted a few very important aspects of real estate, so we appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.